Doing some casual attempted genocide at 183, the classics. Or, for the uniform, smash the basic premise of La Miserale with Cisco's side quest from the Dominion War and personal white whale Michael Eddington. What you get is a possible war crime investigation into Captain Sisko for poisoning the atmosphere of a Maquis-controlled planet. And I am so here for this. Though Michael cleverly one-ups Ben at every turn that doesn't involve a court-martial, in the end, his dreams of an independent Maquis nation would basically die that day when he's captured. There's some excellent music cues in this, and a great game of cat and mouse. For our troubles, we're introduced to the holocommunicator that will pop up a few more times through the run of DS9. We definitely see how far Ben's willing to go to protect the moral certainty of Starfleet, all the while spitting in the face of the concept simultaneously. Suffering mounting losses at 182, catching up, or a time to stand. Jumping into DS9's 6th season, various fleets limp home from action on the front lines, with one, we're told, suffering 90% losses. Things are looking good, but not great on DS9 with the Dominion firmly in control, but yet without a plan to deactivate the minefield guarding the wormhole. Jake learns the futility of being a war reporter whose reports don't make it back home. And Dukat lays on his charm with Kira being the ultimate denier of the meaning of the words resistance is futile. Ben and company take a break from the Defiant for a while and take the now-repaired Jem'Hadar ship they captured a season before out for a spin to blow up a Ketracel White distribution facility. They succeed, but only at the cost of the warp drive on their ship deep inside Dominion space, and that's where we're left on this leg of the multi-episode Dominion-controlled Terok Nor arc. This is a really good setup of the stakes going forward between the galactic powers. Finding what you've lost at 181, regaining honor. Or, soldiers of the Empire. Leading up to the Dominion War, Worf helps Martok take on a motley crew on a Klingon bird of prey in his first command post-Dominion prison. Jadzia tags along too, and at first, the misadventures of this ship are a stark contrast to the Klingons we're used to. It shows they're just as capable as any other race of having less than perfect soldiers, though it takes him some time to come around and his crew questioning his ability to command. Martok even comes around and defies his orders to go just a smidge into Dominion space to complete their mission. It's a lot of Klingon saber-rattling and very endearing as Mr. Hertzler struggles to take back the certainty of command the Dominion took from him. Doing what it's born to do at 180. Adapting, or return to grace. Kira is coerced into going to a conference on behalf of Bajor. What she doesn't know is now demoted freighter Captain Dukat is going to be her shuttle service. Along the way, in the current war between them, they're punked by a Klingon bird of prey that could kill them all, but leaves them alone for now, since they're not worth destroying. Kira comes up with a plan to fit a planetary cannon in the freighter's cargo bay, while giving Zial number 2 a crash course on weapons. Thankfully, by the end, she convinces Dukat to let Zial go back to the station, since she's clearly not cut out for the fight Dukat's about to bring with his newfound bird of prey, after using his new super cannon and some cunning to take it. Dukat tries one of many times to get Kira to see him as more than an oppressor, and is actually one of the better pairings of these two characters across the run of DS9. Breaking the Prime Directive at 179, sometimes dead, is better. Or the Pegasus. In the days before Section 31 was dreamt up, we see a side of the Federation we're not used to that despite treaties will develop tech for intelligence work and in case purposes. In this case, we get some Riker backstory that goes back to his ensign days under now Admiral Pressman, testing a phasing cloak that violates the Treaty of Algernon with the Romulans. There was a mutiny that was covered up, and now, after being tipped off, they need to beat the Romulans to their own ship. The Admiral is clearly more concerned with the mission than lives, which culminates in the Enterprise being trapped inside the asteroid with the phasing cloak as their way out. Picard doesn't have to tip off the Romulans, but he does, and puts Pressman and Riker under arrest. The best bits in this one are in the uncharacteristic trust moments between Picard and Riker. 178 isn't aging so gracefully during Today is a Good Day, or Once More Unto the Breach. Starting with an analogy to the episode itself, Miles and Julian debate Davy Crockett being real or not at the Battle of the Alamo, with Worf chiming in that it's all about faith. And in John Colicos' final acting role, Kor visits the station one last time to seek a glorious battle, despite having few friends left in the Empire, least of all Martok. Worf, though, goes over the head of the leader of his house and commander to appoint Kor Dahar Master that once tangoed with Kirk, a lowly officer in what should have been a straightforward mission. As the episode goes on, we see Kor's age betrays him as the crew go from mesmerized to scornful of him after briefly taking command and name-dropping a now-dead Kang. Though in an act of bravery to distract the Jem'Hadar chasing them, Kor pulls off a masterful feat that cements his eternal place in Sto-vo-kor that impresses even Martok, who he once wronged. One of the most touching episodes to focus on the strange world of Klingon culture. Coming to terms at 177, reliving trauma, or latent image, as the Doctor does annual physicals with the twist of a cool holographic camera that can stack your various layers and see your insides, which tips the Doctor off to a surgery performed by him on Harry Kim that he didn't know about. This leads Janeway to pull a little Tuvix magic and erase his memories associated with even knowing that there are memories. Good thing the Doc has an advocate in 7, having mentioned something to her previously. Though the event that triggered this happens before she came on board, where the Doctor's ethical program didn't know how to handle a 50-50 chance of survival, and with only time to save one life, he decides to prolong Harry's ability to suffer through the run of the show, and Ensign Jatal is off to the great koala in the sky. After great care, debate, and more advocacy by 7, Janeway decides to let the Doctor's program go in a loop for a while and see what happens. Eventually, he does learn to reconcile it and presumably makes him a more effective tool and person. The retelling of his first bit of going nuts is pretty hilarious to watch Bob Picardo chew not only the scenery, but his fellow cast as he spirals into a logic loop. It's a wonderful episode about friends, advocacy for people, and the ethics of denying artificial life parts of itself. Our last entry today at 176, Reigniting Passion, or Rejoined. One of Dax's past life wives visits the station to perform a science mission for some reason aboard the warship Defiant, because Starfleet isn't an organization made up primarily of science vessels. This becomes a problem when old feelings bubble their way to the surface, and not because it's two ladies kissing on 90s television, but because it's taboo in Trill society to have a romantic relationship with a past host. So much so that those caught breaking it become the last host of a particular symbiont. Some people say this is just an episode to titillate your stereotypical Trek fan caricature or queerbaiting. I see it as much, much more. And especially for mid-90s TV. The fact they're same-sex is never really touched on, and I find the seamless inclusivity of the future a hopeful metric. Jadzia's sense of loss at the end of the episode to do what's right for the longevity of their symbionts is heartbreaking, and I think this episode is done really well, even if a little soap opera-ish.
Ah, computer. That program is available.
Thanks, Major. Thanks, Major.
Last time on Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Thanks, Major.
The EMH is inactive.
Thanks, Major.
Unknown.
Thanks, Major.
Transfer complete.
Thanks, Major.
Restoring memory files.
Thanks, Major. Cause ethical.